This is the BGG Climbers for the week ending 7/13/2022. This list is put together every week by Michael Alexander. I'll include links in the description below if you want to take a look at this list and see where this comes from. I'll note that I missed last week with the 4th of July and everything. Things just got busy and I wasn't able to actually do this. I'm going to say that the list this week includes some old stuff and some new things to the list. So let's get started. First one is number 10, So You've Been Eaten. So we've seen this one, I think, a couple weeks ago. I think it had a unique concept, but the reviews just aren't going very strong, obviously. All the beginning reviews are in the low sevens, which most likely will fall over time. So I think even though it's from acclaimed designer Scott Olms, the concept is really cool. Maybe there's just something missing from it. So that's number 10. So You've Been Eaten. Number 9, Sniper Elite, the board game. So this continues to do pretty decently. Slightly above 8, which I think is decent, although it's only 178 ratings. Probably not in the range where it's going to end up in the top 100, but we will see. Number 9, Sniper Elite, the board game. Number 8, Pagan, Fate of Roanoke. So I think this is having a second Kickstarter, as I believe it was a Kickstarter exclusive. I really like the artwork. I like the idea of this 2-player game, kind of Netrunner-ish, where it's very asymmetrical battle between people. I forget exactly the mechanisms on this game. It is doing extremely well. I think that the fact that people have really been yearning for like this asymmetric 2-player game to come out, the fact the artwork looks really good, and it must have solid gameplay at this point. As far as getting in the top 100, it may be kind of difficult. We'll have to see how the second Kickstarter does and how many copies get out there, just because it requires a large amount of reviews to end up in the top 100 at this point. If even if it doesn't end up in the top 100, the ratings are so strong. I think it's definitely a top 500 game at this point. So Pagan, Fate of Roanoke. Number 7, Splitto. So I don't think we've seen this one. Let's take a look. Players cooperate to score points, but only the one who scores the most wins the game. So it's kind of semi-cooperative, but not really. It has alliances, which is, I don't know, I find games that have alliances tend to be a more diplomacy-oriented game, and I think it mimics real life in some ways, but it also can lead to some, balance issues in the game. And I mean, the ratings aren't too strong for this, so I don't think we're going to be seeing this for too many weeks. It's around 6. It's just one hand of 7 Wonder card style drafting, starting with 13 cards and a mix of scoring cards and suit cards. So, and combines between 2 city scoring mechanisms. So maybe kind of like a lighter weight combination of the two that maybe doesn't quite work as well as either one. But these lighter weight games tend to, even though they may not get rated high on BGG, some of them do take off when they end up in Targets or Walmarts of the world. So Splitto, number 7. Number 6, Guild of Merchant Explorers. So this has been actually improving a little bit. We had a few weeks here below 7 for the average. Now we're back at 8 for the new ratings. I don't think this is going in the top 100. I don't think, with AEG's they've had a number of hits in the last couple years. I think it sounds like it's going to be a solid game, but maybe not a top 100 game. Number 6, Guild of Merchant Explorers. Grove, a 9-card solitaire game. So let's see here. This is probably Grove is a citrusy sequel to Orchard 9-card solitaire game. It features 18 cards, orange, lemon, trees. Went to Kickstarter, okay. And this may have come out of, I feel like there's this publishing contest or whatever on BGG that I remember seeing, which was develop these 9-card solitaire games. And maybe this came out of it. Nice small box. Got some dice and just some cards. um, so looks decent. It is a fairly lightweight game, and it is obviously solo published edition plus print and play edition. That I think that's cool. That if this thing only has a few cards and uses dice, it can be a print and play, and it's great that they offered it as one. Published version arrives. Away with the print and play. So looks like people really like this game. I think it looks good. I think for in terms of getting into the top 100, I don't think this is going to make it just because solitaire games tend to have a limited audience. There are a few in the top 100, but it's maybe 2 or 3, and uh, it's lighter weight. So I think in time its rating will fall down a little bit. But it is great to see a print and play game turn into a published game on Kickstarter, and people really like it. So this is Grove, and I guess this is a sequel to the original one. Grove, a 9-card solitaire game, number 5. Number 4, Space Station Phoenix. So this one, it kind of had a lower week, although it is trending down. So I think at this point, I would say this one's probably not ending up in the top 100. This is a game where you're building your space station, if I remember right. And we saw it a few weeks ago. I think it looked interesting, but I guess especially as so many new games have been coming out, I've been becoming more choosy about which games interest me. And this one just didn't quite make the bar, I don't think. At least in terms of my interest level. And it seems like the people that played it maybe weren't as interested either in this as some previous games. This is number 4, Space Station Phoenix. Number 3, Northgard Uncharted Lands. So this is based off a computer game, a streamlined 4X board game based on Norse mythology. Now, if I remember, I played Northgard, the computer game, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was amazing, and I was surprised that they made a board game out of this. And the board game actually looks heavier than the computer game. So that's a little bit of a strange turn of events. I will say I like the way they did I like the computer game artwork. I like that they use that same style of artwork on these cards. Wow, that is a nice paint job on the minis. And without the paint, the minis don't look as good. Looks like nice insert, a lot of little pieces, and some dice. I mean, the game itself looks pretty cool. Let's see. So the playtime is 45 to 90 minutes, which is great. Weight of 3.07. That's kind of a sweet spot for weight on BGG. Fast pace and smooth rhythm of play. Deck bag, pool building, dice rolling, modular board, tile placement. Tabletopia 4X. So, I mean, if this is really a 4X game that plays in 45 to 90 minutes, that is going to appeal to a lot of people, I think. Let's see what the comments show. So this one has a lot of people that really love the game at 10, 9, and 8. There's some mixed ratings down here. So such a great game, easy to pick up and learn. The flow of the game is fluid. It's fun to play. Its beautiful components are high quality at a very reasonable price, even considering it was a late pledge. Tile placement, deck building, resource gathering, and combat. So, wow, this is actually I'm gonna have to look at some reviews on this. This is really looking interesting, and maybe I was wrong to not back this. So I'm gonna probably look for some reviews on this, see what people are saying, but it looks like a very promising game, and we are only in the kind of the first week of seeing some reviews here, but it's already averaging 8.38, which is not bad for starting. So let's see, and it was available on Tabletopia, so it's possible that some of these early ratings are accurate. Let's see how it does in the coming weeks. I'm sure if it's a great game, we will see it some more on this list. So number 3, Northgard, Uncharted Lands. Number 2, Stars of Akurios. So I think we saw this one. It's still doing extremely well. I think we saw this one a couple weeks ago. Oh yes, I remember this one. So this one looked pretty cool. I guess you can buy it on Amazon with Kickstarter extras. Is it a 4X cooperative game, dice rolling, grid movement, adventure exploration? So it kind of sounds, I mean, to me it sounds kind of like the ISS Vanguard maybe a little bit, but this one's more space combat-y, and that one's more exploration, I feel like. High quality, very first printing, and a decent number of misprints are actually impactful gameplay. Figuring those, the game is still great. So yeah, that's always sad. Similar to Gloomhaven, but in space. Almost as good too. So I guess it's kind of, maybe it's a space dungeon crawler, which I would lean towards not getting for myself just because I have enough dungeon crawlers. I actually have Midara that I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to play it. I'll probably get all the stuff for it before I even get it to the table at the rate I'm going. And I do like the idea of spaceships and stuff, but there's only so many games we can actually play. We'll have to see how this does. I mean, it's doing really well so far, but it may just not have the breadth of release to climb into the top 100. I think if we see it continually getting 9s, though, with 100 ratings each week, this will probably be easily in the top 300 games. So, number 2, Stars of Curios. Number 1 is Oathsworn Into the Deep Woods. So this game is... I'm starting to regret not getting the Kickstarter on this one. We've had solid... So it started to get deliveries early June, and we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks all above 9s. People have been able to play this game, obviously think it's amazing. This was a huge miniature-based Kickstarter. If I remember right, it was like a boss battle, or if I remember right, narrative choices and rich miniature combat encounters. Yeah, so like a encounter board game. The miniatures looked really good. Actually, there's very few pictures here, which I'm kind of surprised about. The miniatures looked really good. Quackalope's done a game on this, or I guess a review if it was worth the wait. And I think that they're going to have a second Kickstarter on this, which I don't know. With the way the Kickstarter pricing has been going, I may just avoid it as well and see maybe someone will sell a used copy at some point. Let's look at the comments, though. 4 chapters, 10 hours before rating. Wow. Card combat of Gloomhaven, which is, I feel like, I mean, Gloomhaven card combat is really solid, but it was clearly a kind of early implementation of it. I think a faster gameplay with that would be better. And it looks like they've kind of taken that and they've done, okay, instead of having this like a bunch of minions, let's just boss battle. And I don't know, I like that idea because I don't know, I prefer fighting the unique enemies, instead of fighting a bunch of skeletons or something. Greatest game of all. Takes the best features of the game of Gloomhaven and KDM while innovating new features and mechanics. So that's very compelling, I think. Best Kickstarter I've ever backed. I don't know if they've actually received the game, but maybe. Struggling to think of any faults. Narrative is extremely impressive. I think actor... Oh, wow. So, I do like the idea of... So, I'm not a big fan of reading the games myself. Like, if there's a narrative story, that's one of the reasons why I did back Midara, because they have the audio app. Okay, if you don't like chucking dice, you can use the less random Combat system: the boss battles are immense with very clever puzzle solving element utilizing the battle flow system. There's even options on how you play characters and where you opt to use simplified versions of main characters. All this just got to an amazing quality components and particularly the incredible miniatures. Must play for any fans of the fantasy. Wow, so this looks really good. Legit potential Gloomhaven killer. After 3 scenarios, cool game, but not a Gloomhaven killer. So, I think this is going to be a really strong game. I'm hoping. I don't know. I'm going to have to watch some reviews and see. Maybe if they do a second Kickstarter, I'll end up jumping into it. I think if they've sold enough copies of it with this stronger ratings for 3 weeks, which is we're already up to 300. This is probably, assuming they sold enough copies in the first round or they do a second Kickstarter, this is probably going to be in the top 100. Maybe even before the end of the year if they have enough copies with the first Kickstarter. So there you have it. That is the BG Climbers list for the week ending 7/13/2022. If you like this video, please like and please subscribe. Please take a look at our other videos. Thank you.